Right at it. Right at it. Oh, he's done it again. Just as he did at the John Deere for his first win.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 153 of the Go Get That podcast. Jordan Spieth is the recent low round holder on the PGA Tour. Good vibes, headed to the Truist, city of brotherly love, some call it. Jordan and I are headed there. Jordan are headed there. Hopefully Jordan's game comes with him from Sunday because that was some good golf.
That's what's most important.
It was nice because I think that he really has been trending in his mind, and I think you need to see a score go his way. Still waiting for a nice round when the score matters, but we've been talking about how he hasn't been getting a lot out of rounds, and it's tough to not get a lot out of rounds and shoot 62. So he did that Sunday, which is really nice. No matter which way you put it. I mean, the course is easy, sure, but you have to play pretty darn good golf to shoot 62 anywhere on the PGA Tour. So, yeah, lost by whatever, 13 shots, but
12.
Yeah, 2 missed extra points from Scheffler. But I'm happy to see it. We needed to see something like that because through 3 days, I thought if it was a round of 3 under on Sunday, I would have said we'd be headed in the wrong direction. So
Wow.
It's a take.
I don't think it's that. I don't think it's a take at all.
That's fine.
I mean, he shoots 3 under and he loses by 20 shots. Yeah, Scheffler played amazing, but that's another tournament in a weak field where he didn't contend. And yeah, he didn't contend this week, but he did shoot 62. And you can't shoot 62 if you don't have things going your way. You don't know where if you know where the golf ball is going, if you don't know where the golf ball is going, you can't shoot 62. So I think with 3 under final day, I'd be pretty nervous. I don't think that he's going to win the Truist, but I do think that he's close to a win for the first time as I have in a while. And that's purely because of the 62. I say this. I mean, he could have played the same golf shot 6 shots worse, and I would have thought he's not. But he needed to see scores result in how he felt like he was playing really badly. So I think that 62 is more important than even just the golf. I think that seeing that score really will help him mentally, especially at a course where you have to be. I don't know. What do you think the winning score is going to be this week, Jordan?
16 to 22.
You think it's going to be that low?
Yeah. Based on the scouting mission that Dan and I did in PGA Tour 2K.
It's pretty gettable.
Well,
I think it'll be soft too.
I've heard that Dan's my player is much better than Spieth. So is that? Have we encountered?
He's got some.
Have we taken that into account?
Maybe. So I played 3 rounds there the other day, and I believe I posted a 65 on Thursday. So it's gettable. It's also a different style. I think it's going to be a fun test, and we'll get into that once you guys get up there. But I think what we saw this week is just so translatable to playing well everywhere else. And I think you're right that the score matters, but also especially on Sunday, honestly, the last sort of 27 holes of this week were pretty elite stuff. Like some of the iron shots he hit on Sunday were ridiculous. I don't think he hit one. Trying to rack my brain about a shot that wasn't that great, but I mean, he nearly jarred it from 200 on 13. You got the iron shot on 15, which I know was 25 feet short, but as Jordan said, was right at it. Uh, Iron shot on four, iron shot on one. I mean, you just keep stacking those up. The approach play was really good this week, and that, we were a good putter week away from competing with Van Rooyen for second. And Van Rooyen played good enough golf to win a tournament most weeks. So I think it's definitely buoyed a bit by the 62 on Sunday, but I think this was a nice result and kind of made up for some of the not lackluster results, but I think he may be under resulted relative to some of his play. And I think this play was spectacular and warranted even if it was uncompetitive, it still deserved a fourth. I feel like it seems like a fair enough result for how he played. So
I
certainly
mean,
encouraging and something to give us sort of a boost as we go forward.
I mean, nobody. I'd say not even Rory at his best was beating Scheffler this week.
No.
It was just too good. So I'm looking at it as he finished four back. I mean that's a good score. I mean that's a good finish, and I think that's what we've needed. Um, I know it wasn't contention, but it would have been contention if Scheffler wasn't um there because those last few holes coming down the stretch, we would have known that there was a chance. Um, so I think that's important. I think my point stands that if he had shot three under and finished 13 under, yeah, he would have improved 3 of the 4 days, but
Yeah. I mean,
it's still
it's
it's still a pretty weak field. But I thought he did his job. Um, and I think he had one really, really good round that made the week exciting. Um, and again, I think that 62 is just a little more important than necessarily the score. I think that all of these rounds we've been saying he's been leaving shots out there. I think that that's bothered him more than anything, really, because I think he really does think he's been playing good golf recently. So I think that score is really good for the mental side of it, which I think has been really struggling recently.
yeah, I'd agree. And to that point, like I think the 62 probably made up for a few of
Yeah.
the shots kind of earlier in the week, but I think on a collective, like Thursday was a tough day. Lost I think a shot on around the greens and on the green. It's like you shoot two under and you if you were just kind of average at two things you've been pretty good at this year, you're looking at a 67 and obviously not really in the picture again because Scheffler was just 61 out of the gates, but I think the quality of stuff was there. And ultimately, at the end of the day, the biggest thing is like he hit his irons well. Like that's now 2 weeks in a row that it's been good approach play. And this week was like winning quality on most weeks. Obviously, Scheffler dominated, right? There's the asterisk of like, well, I mean, nobody was catching Scott this week, but if you hit the ball the way that you did this week, it's gonna lead to more results like this. And if you get in that picture enough times, at some point you're gonna break through.
Yeah, I agree.
Good stated stuff, fellas. Uh, yeah, I came into the week on the preview pod, asked for contention. Did not get that, but we got the second best thing, I would say. A nice backdoor 62 on Sunday finish. Feeling really good. He's up to 26th in the data golf rankings, which is good stuff. Just excited. I'm excited uh, for Truist. I'm excited to be there with Bob. It's really just cool to see him play like this in the first of a 5 week stretch. Like that's a good, I mean, it's a high bar, but I think he's excited to set a high bar and see where we can go from here. Um, yeah, really good stuff. I think one of the other things I know he's what he's done a really good job of this year is you kind of look back at the last 3 weeks before this. I'm looking back at these rounds since Valero. I mean, since round three of Valero, he's played 14 rounds. 13 of them have been above average. Like he's done a really good job when he doesn't really have it all, of just scrapping around the par, around near par, not blowing up, which he's kind of been accustomed to in the past. And that's how you have these weeks where like T20 is your baseline. Your bad rounds are around even. And he's done a good job of that. I mean, even Friday and Saturday, they weren't great, but they were fine rounds. Thursday wasn't great either, but he didn't shoot himself out of it. I mean, out of it in terms of winning, he did just because I mean, Scotty shot 31 under, but he's done a good job of keeping it together, which I've been proud of. And then, yeah, set first time this year, he's gained on approach in 2 straight weeks. That's big. I think we're finally starting to find something with the approach play, which is good. And I mean, the putter was bad this week and it was still average to field. So, a lot of good signs. I mean, it's 4 straight data golf green boxes, a lot of good stuff. He's showing everything to beat an elite level, and it seems like we're getting a little bit closer to really putting that all together. And kind of as Bob said, getting closer to a win. I think the next step's just to really give yourself a real chance on Sunday, which, granted, of course, if Scotty Scheffler wasn't in the field yesterday, he would have been, but there's no reason he can't tee it up over these next 4 weeks and give him chances on Sundays.
Yeah. And part of
Yeah.
that's the field in a sense. It's like you're just gonna get dusted, you're gonna get dusted. But um the the high floor I think has probably been maybe the most surprising thing of the last kind of month or so. Because to your point, it does seem like even if it's not his best stuff, the round is still field average and it's scrappy and it's kind of like it never feels like, man, like the ball is going all over the place. It just feels like for whatever reason it's just not working out today. Um and that's a nice feeling. And sort of to go back to Bob's point, it's like putting the final round together of 9 birdies in 18 holes, regardless of where you do that, right? Finally gaining some momentum of like really thrusting up the leaderboard and not just falling, preventing yourself from falling down, and kind of testing out where that ceiling's at, is good, and I think offers encouragement for um, the following weeks. I'm not sure that Truist is actually the greatest fit for him, to be honest, but I think obviously Colonial's in a few weeks. Memorial, I think he plays Quail relatively well, so um, an encouraging start to say the least.
Yeah, no, I don't. We'll get into it in the preview. Obviously, Bob will get out there on Wednesday. He got an afternoon Wednesday tee time for his pro-am, which is phenomenal for Bob and I. Because I'm picking Bob up early Wednesday morning. If anyone wants to meet us down at Baltimore Washington International Airport and hop in the
Yeah,
car
I
with
mean,
us, but
I'm sure plenty of fans will be welcoming me
yeah,
with
exactly.
open arms to the area.
Yeah,
So
I got my Jeep. If anyone wants to fly into Baltimore Wednesday morning, I'll take us all up to Philly. But anywho, afternoon pro-am time on Wednesday, and yeah, the course is interesting this week because I'm seeing. Well, I want to stay on Byron, but just because you mentioned the course fit this week, it's Northeast golf, which has not been his friend as of late. I mean, just a lot of brutal golf courses up there,
good
but
prep for
it's
Oakmont.
yeah, that's one way to put it. But it's not. It's 7,100 yards. Like it shouldn't be brutal. So like I was kind of thinking Travelers for a comp. We'll see how that pays off. I mean, similar length,
Yeah.
probably I think similar scoring.
Yeah.
Be interesting though. He's starting to have a profile of someone you can fit to a course and just going back to the approach play travels. If he can iron and wedge it well, there's no reason he can't play well anywhere. I mean, especially over 200 yards. Just speaking about the Byron this week, I mean, he's flushing it over 200 yards. It's exciting. I looked at his
Yeah.
like approach statistics from over 200 yards. Uh, he's a good long iron player this year, and that's like exciting because I mean that's what you need it the US Open and the PGA, places he struggled at. Like I'm shocked at how good he is. He's in the 79th percentile, uh, over 200 yards. He is 96th percentile in proximity from over 200 yards.
Wow.
96th percentile with 102 shots. That's absurd. The only reason his strokes gained per shot's lower is because he's hit some squirrely ones that have hurt the number. But I mean, he's 96th percentile in proximity from over 200 yards. Who would have thought?
I mean, not considering the last kind of few years, right? Obviously, when the driver went away because of the weak grip, the long irons followed suit. And so the fact that you could step up to a 220 yard par three or a 220 yard shot and feel like it's not a birdie chance, but like he could give himself a pretty good look. But even at the bare minimum, right, in regards to the proximity, it's not putting himself in trouble. Where the short game has to be the bailout or the putter has to be the bailout. But what's nice, and kind of saw a little bit of it at the Byron, was like, especially, or I guess just going over the course of the season, those things can still be the bailout. Like the putter has bailed out at times this year, and the short game maybe hasn't been as elite as it can be, but it also has provided moments of uh, support when needed. And I think that's ultimately kind of big picture. Like the approach play is needed to achieve elite levels, but you got to still have the rest of your game in order. And at some point this season, he's shown that he's got it in order. And now it's about just starting to string it all together in this kind of second third of the season. And I mean, Ranch was a great start at a challenging and you know, championship worthy venue, right? So um, we'll see if hopefully we'll see if the momentum can start to carry over. But I think whatever they did on the week off with him and Cam, who by the way, uh, the Fire Cam crowd is pretty quiet these days. I'd hope and I'd imagine.
I mean,
He's never been the issue,
no, he
and
hasn't. He really hasn't.
they've put in some good work. So
But
um, let's
I,
keep it rolling.
as I play devil's advocate, I'd like to see. We've seen the irons not travel for Spieth before. It's very important that the iron play doesn't fall off this week because it did. It didn't fall off after Phoenix, but it progressively got worse before it started to get better. So that can't happen. I think that, I mean, with the way he's putted it there, this game style that he's currently rocking is just about as good as it could be going into a course like Quail Hollow. So I'd like to continue to build on that. I'd like that long iron plate because I I assume there will be some long irons here this week. Probably not too many. Um, but I'm interested to see. It looks like foul balls this week really have to get lucky. It looks like it's the grass is pretty long as you get further away from the fairway. So I think the foul balls will need to be kept in check because he's driven it well recently, but he has had some very loose swings.
I mean, look, it's a video game, but from can, what I kind of see is like, it reminds me a lot of the country club and a lot of winged foot. Like you got to play from the fairway. You miss the
Yeah.
fairway and you don't have any control into these
Yeah.
relatively
No, I bet
small,
I bet the rough
somewhat
will be
like,
up.
yep, somewhat kind of slopey greens. It's supposed to be wet too the first 2 days, like thick rough, wet rough is not going to be
Is it gonna rain at
easy
all,
to
Jordan?
easy to play and score out of.
Um,
I think
Well,
it's supposed to a little bit.
yeah, there shouldn't be a delay. I mean, we would play through it, but them, there might be a delay.
That's a great point. I mean, I don't know if you remember, but I mean, the waste management last year, I took a tumble in the desert because of the rain. I was prepared to keep fighting on, The tour had other ideas and made me wait around all day just to watch Spieth play 2 holes. But we're prepared to play rain, shine, or tornado. So
Yeah,
it's really up to whether the tour weathermen want to make the players play in some tough conditions. But
conditions don't phase us. It's for
no,
sure.
not at all. It should be a fun week though.
No, it will be. You guys were mentioning the grass. I was looking at the turf sheet. They list the rough as turf type tall fescue.
Chills.
So yeah, tall fescue. Make of that what you will.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're offline, there's probably gonna need to be some luck. Um, there should be some gnarly lies. Speaking of ranch, I think I mentioned in the preview the rough was up this year. There was some gnarly lies at ranch.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I mean, if you were missing the fairway, there weren't some of these lies that you were getting into are not necessarily great this week.
And Spieth made a hit the ball 1 inch on
Yeah.
Friday, which by the way, I think it's getting, slightly or like I kind of forgot about it just because Sunday was great and the close to Saturday was fun, but he was even par 21 holes into this golf tournament after the double on 12 on Friday morning, and you're thinking the cut line's going to be 6 and he's 6 back from it. And then plays the next 15 with 7 birdies, 1 bogey, gets to 6, cut line finishes at 5. But again, there just feels like there's a lot of good signs of the floor is pretty high. Like this is a person whose bad golf is not bad enough to really eject from tournaments. I think
Yeah.
there's an excitement about within his camp and most notably just within him of like, yeah, I can go make 5 or 6 birdies if I need to. I could birdie. Well, like some of these long par fours at Ranch require a proper tee ball and a proper strike with the 6, 5, or 4 iron.
Troublesome.
And he was able to kind of give that, produce that a few times this week. So, um, definitely, I mean, we keep kind of saying it's encouraging and whatnot, but just hard to look past some of the stuff is like, man, these are just proper golf shots that'll translate at courses that we want them to play well at.
Well, the only way to get into form for major championships is to play well at major championships.
That's yeah. That's it's a great line. I Ranch got a lot of hate this week. Um, and I kind of took it a little personally. I think it's an excellent golf course. I cannot believe they're renovating it. Um, good
Tearing it
luck to
up.
whoever's right. Good luck to whoever's doing it, because they're gonna have to, really. I think a lot of people can look back at it and be like, oh, they messed it up. They messed up such a great golf course. And again, it just got boned by the schedule. Um, Playing in May and at Ranch is not suited to be played in May. You play it in March. Um, and I'll stand by that. But I don't know. I was thinking like if the USGA got their hands on Ranch, like how hard could they actually make it,
I mean, it's
Where
long.
where it's not like they're losing the golf course.
I mean, with no rain, I think they could get it close to par.
Yeah. Just I mean, you get the
But
rough like
with no rain, that's the
right.
stipulation. With
Well, and
no
they could probably
rain
grow the
in
rough up.
March, you could see
Winds howling. Like I think they
like
could.
a Shinnecock
Yeah.
type.
Right. See. That's what I'm saying. And
I
I
mean,
think they just
you burn the greens to death, literally. Like
yeah.
have the grass literally be dead, and you'll
Right.
get
And then just spray paint it green so that it
yeah,
looks cool. Or
yeah.
just leave it brown maybe. I don't know. But I
But
I
no, you're
agree
right
with you.
though. The the tour is lost. They added a new tee box on the par five fifth, and they didn't use it all week. Like, who does that?
Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense. I guess five probably played into the wind all 4 days.
Yeah, they didn't want to
Maybe
make it
they
not reachable. So
maybe the course added the tee box, and the PJ Tour is like, no, it's already too perfect.
it was on the tour scorecard at like 630 yards, and they refused to use it.
Well, the
Yeah.
tour doesn't like the players struggling.
No, they do not.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, I think Scheffler, that 10 under at any other golf course is probably 14, right? Ranch really made him earn the 10. Um, because it's just 4 shots tougher than anywhere else. But
I want to see a viewership statistic, as Bob was saying. They don't like to see players struggle. If the winning score is 10 under or lower for a PGA Tour event, is viewership worse when guys are making more bogeys? I would love to see that.
It
that would
is,
be
I think.
interesting. What do you think it would be?
I think the tour likes. I think the general person watching the tour likes birdies more than they do bogeys. I think that the diehard fan probably is with us, but money unfortunately does talk. And I think someone likes to turn on the TV and be like, holy shit, Scotty Scheffler's 32 under.
Yeah.
I tend to agree.
I
Yeah.
think there's I
I
think
think that's the only way because the golf fans have been calling for them to make courses harder for years. But I think the average person who's watching in the background gets sucked into the product with birdies.
it's
I think
also
that's it.
just sometimes you just can't make it hard. I'm not really sure what they could have done this week to make Ranch play more difficult, like
Oh, it
grow the rough
rained.
another 2 inches, don't water the greens,
They could have
like
maxed out five.
maxed out five. Yeah, that's fair. But I think that is a golf course that if it's blowing 15, it's probably playing pretty tough. Well, relatively tough to its standards. And also like the thing about viewership too is it's ultimately just who's on the leaderboard. Like I'm excited to see. I don't know if they've dropped a number, but I can imagine that CBS coming on the airwaves with Scheffler 1, Spieth 2 is probably decent, even if the tournament was over. I don't
The
know what that number.
hilarious thing is, this was the fifth year at Ranch. This is the toughest it's played. Yeah. I mean,
That's
Scheffler is just the absolute anomaly.
that's absurd.
This was the toughest it's played. So like, that's progress, I guess. It's just
I mean,
Yeah.
great
Well, they're
courses produce great champions with leaderboard separation. Dan
right.
yeah.
did say it correctly.
No, I mean it does check all three of those boxes that I
It
listed
does.
out the other
It
day.
does.
Um, just maybe in a more ironic way. I don't know. I'm not even sure what the redesign is gonna look like, but at some point you're kind of like, dude, why are we what are we doing here at this golf course? Like I know it's Byron Nelson, but there's gotta be a better Texas track to
It's tough because I mean it's the same problem as Trinity. I mean
yeah, it's a big golf
it's
course.
just a horrible time of year to play this event. It's
I,
always raining.
yes. That's what I think if it was played
The
when
problem is I just don't think there's another spot in the schedule for it.
Move the players back to May.
well, yeah, that's why they moved the players to March, partly, is
The
because
fans want players in May and Ranch in March.
Fans want March. March for
yeah,
Ranch.
yeah, I mean, dude, could you imagine watching like you're out there on Thursday and you're watching Yale versus Baylor round one and you've got the best players in the world just dueling with Craig Ranch, one of the great all-time great courses. I mean, what do we think like Sarazen shoots around here and his with his
Course
magical
record.
game? Course record? Yeah, it's probably
Course
true.
record.
Right. I think it if Scheffler had set the record here, it would have actually come out today that Saracen shot 32 under, or whatever it was.
If you
Saracen got him
recall,
by one.
Davis Riley called a penalty on himself with the rangefinder this week. I think Saracen would have done that.
I think Saracen would have hit every shot with slope.
Yes, and not volunteered that he did it.
No, no, he would not have. Which actually props to Davis Riley because I think he then made eagle on 18 to make the cut. So that's
Karma of the good variety.
yes, the good variety. But a 2-shot penalty for slope is kind of crazy. But I guess just make sure your rangefinder's set, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, just goes to show those guys don't mess around when it comes to calling penalties on themselves. But like we hear these stories all the time, but I'd bet 50% of players don't do that.
Ooh. You think no, I'm not gonna say that. Wow, 50. I mean,
I think they shut it off, but I
that'd be interesting.
don't know.
You
You
think
can't.
Tom Kim uses slope?
I don't think any of them are using slope on purpose. I don't think any of them are purposely cheating. I just don't think they're calling the
Scheffler?
penalty on themselves. Well, that's a good. Maybe that is how we got to 32 under this week.
Correct. Yes.
But yeah, I don't know. It's
Ted
it's an
Scott
interesting
should be
question.
interrogated.
Yeah, yeah. Lie detector test.
Correct.
We'd be happy to perform it. Oh wait, they're not even there this week.
No.
Yeah, it's crazy. I actually like the PGA's. I know a lot of people have kind of talked about it. It's like it's kind of setting up for. There's a lot of pretty electric storylines. And I know we'll get to them when we kind of get there. Skipping ahead a little bit, but Rory's in form. Scheffler just starting to play well. Thomas, you know, DeChambeau, Rahm will probably be a factor there. And now throw Spieth's name in there, and you've got quite the concoction for a week of excellence at Quail. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I'm already counting down the days till Ranch next year, though. Excited to see some of the changes.
We all are, Dan. We all are.
And see if they can try and up a major championship. I think it would be funny if it played easier next year somehow. So that's like kind of what I'm rooting for, but it also would be nice if it played to maybe a shot or two over each day. So we'll see. I don't have any more Ranch thoughts either.
Yeah, I have to hop off anyways. I gotta go to dinner and then I gotta get more packing done. But if you guys want to continue talking, that's fine. I
Yeah,
just have
I had one more thought.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I'd say I think that I've always had this take. I think anywhere in the Northeast can fit Jordan Spieth. Because the greens are straightforward. It's not like he's gonna have. I mean, you should be able to read these greens. They're bent. It's all slope. There's no grain.
A lot of
Um,
slope on these apparently.
what?
A lot of slope on these apparently
Yeah,
this week.
but there's no grain. So I mean, the greens should fit everyone evenly. And the chips there's not much judging lies. So it kind of gets more to that feel style that Spieth likes to play. So I'm excited for this week. I'm excited for Wednesday. I'm excited to see how he looks. It would be really chills if we got out to the Pro-Am and he was just firing at pins all day with his irons.
Every pro I see him playing, he kind of craps the bed, so it'd be a change of pace.
It would. But change of pace would be
Yeah,
nice.
would be nice. Well, yeah, he'll definitely pick up all the putts on
There's
Wednesday.
no bogeys on Wednesdays now.
Right. I mean, come on, that's rule number one of a pro-am, I think, is no bogeys on Wednesday. Yeah, we'll see. I'm excited too, because I think it looks sick, the course. and it's different, and you just don't see it at a normal tour event very often, or ever really. They don't really go to the Northeast, so um, hopefully it's good weather, and I'm excited to chat with you boys on Wednesday about how the course looks, how some of the guys out there looked, and get another week on tour. Big signature event, so get some more Ryder Cup and Data Golf Cup and FedEx Cup, all the cups. Keep climbing up the rankings, basically. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I agree. Jordan, you one more thought?
Yeah, last thought. Just looking at the stats again. He was third in ball striking this week. It was a Scheffler-like week for Spieth. He didn't really putt well. Hit the crap out of the golf ball, and all we need is that to continue and the putter to get back to millsing around.
I do have a take, real quick, about Scheffler. If you take out how poor he is inside of 6 feet, he's a pretty good putter.
Yeah.
He's pretty good from the other ranges, well above average. I mean, he's not someone you want to see with a 15-footer. I mean, he is atrocious given the right comparatively to the rest of his game from 6 feet and in, sure, but from 15 feet, he's a good mid-range putter. And I mean, he has a lot of mid-range putts to practice because every iron shot is to 15 feet. But I've picked up on that. I don't think poor putter might even, I don't even know if that's the right word.
Well, yeah, certainly not anymore. I think too, once he makes a few, like he gets hot. He's
Yeah.
not like that streaky anymore, but I think there's times where it feels like he misses a lot more, but in reality, it's just that he has good looks all day because he hits the ball at 12 feet every time. So
Yeah.
it's a good
But
take.
that's my take. See you Wednesday. It will be a live pod. Me and Jordan sharing a hotel room, watching Mr. Spieth all weekend. So
And a lot of hockey.
a lot of hockey. There will be a lot of
Yes.
hockey.
Guaranteed 4 days too, which is nice.
And some Curry after that Game 7 win.
Well said.
Chills.
Well said. Yeah.
Peace.
Take care, everyone.